Hello again, Twill.tv viewers. If you watch my videos over on XDA, you may have seen a few weeks ago I made a video about a product from RAVPower. This was the RPWD01, and essentially it's a big old external battery with a USB external storage port, but also a charging port, and an SD card slot. Very cool, very exciting device. Talked about it at length over on XDA. I'll put a link to that down in the video description so you can check it out. However, RAVPower, the company that sent me this, has some other sub-brands that they do work through. And one of them is Hutu. Now there has been a Hutu device on the market called the Hutu TripMate for at least a year now. I've seen several other people review it. Unfortunately, I never got my hands on one. However, they contacted me a few weeks ago and asked if I would be willing to take a look at their latest product that they're actually working to fund through Indiegogo. And that is this little guy who showed up not too long ago. This is the Hutu TripMate Elite. This is the step up from the Hutu TripMate in that instead of the previous generation was effectively a relatively small device with a pretty big battery in it. It had a 5200 milliamp hour battery, but it had an Ethernet port, one USB out port that you could use for storage or for charging, and that was about all there was to it. You charged it through micro USB. You could share files from the USB drives, you could hook it up to Ethernet, and you could do stuff over wireless, and that was about all there was to it. This, the Hutu TripMate Elite, takes that a step further. In addition to being able to plug this into your Ethernet and share it out as a wireless access point, you also have two USB ports now. I did some testing on these, and these appear to be USB 2.0, not 3.0, so to each their own there. You do still have that micro USB input for charging the device, which now has a 6000 milliamp hour battery, but additionally, and this is what makes it really cool to me, has a little flip out plug, so you can plug it directly into the wall. Now, taking a look at the Indiegogo project, it just shows this tip, but I'm sure you can put an adapter on it if you're in a different country. But to sort of wrap up what this thing does, they say it's a 3-in-1 or a 5-in-1. They kind of say it's a lot of different things. It is a wireless router, wireless access point. You can sort of put both of those together. It is a wireless, they call it a cloud solution, but it's actually a network attached storage device, so you can hook up USB drives or USB hard drives, actually like this little one that I've got here. This is a USB 3 hard drive that I can just plug into it using my USB cable. And using the software that's available for Android or Windows or iOS, you can connect to this device to whatever hard drive or USB drive is attached to it and pull down the files from it or put files up on it. Of course, the third function, like I said, it has a 6000 milliamp hour battery, which it does use to power itself when it's not plugged in. You might have noticed there, I don't know if you can see that or not, the internet and LAN lights are on because I've actually got this set to bridge over to my home wireless access point at the moment, so that from anywhere in my house, without even having to connect to this device, I can receive files from this device, put files on this device, no questions asked. So yeah, it is powered right now through that 6000 milliamp hour battery, and you can use one of the two USB ports or both of them at the same time. One's a 1 amp port and one can be 1 or 2.1 amps, so you can do smartphone on one, smartphone or tablet on the other, and you can charge your devices either at the same time or separately. Now, sort of extending from that, the fourth function, and I guess the last function of it, like I said, it has this AC adapter plugged to it, so you can plug it in and have it power itself, but it additionally can pass through and charge devices using this. So effectively, you get multiple things in one. You don't have to carry the little USB wall warts around with you anymore. Something like this, one little USB device, which really is about a third of the size of the Hutu Elite. You don't have to carry this around because this will power two different devices at once. And additionally, you can either connect it to the existing wireless network or use it to create your own wireless network wherever you are. If you're at a hotel that only provides wired Ethernet, for example, plug the wired Ethernet into this. You've immediately got a wireless access point, which is 802.11 BGN with up to 150 megabits per second speeds. And it does support wireless encryption on top of it, so you can do WPA, and I think you can do WPA2 on it. So all in all, it is a very cool, very, very useful device. And the app that comes along with it, it looks almost identical to the one that comes with the RAVPower device that I mentioned earlier. You get my TripMate instead of my RAVPower device. Where you can manage the stuff that is stored on it. You can manage the stuff that's on your own device. You can copy back and forth between them. You can also go in and manage the settings on the device, on the Hutu device itself, what it's connecting to, the wireless encryption type, what wireless or wired network you're connecting to, all sorts of fun stuff like that. And so far, since I've had this, I've actually been using it at my work because the place that I work, they offer wireless, but it's very, very difficult to connect to on Windows or Linux. It's difficult to connect to. On iOS, if you have an iOS device, you have to get a special profile on the device, and on Android, it is practically impossible to connect to. So having this little guy that I can plug into the wired Ethernet, immediately be online with it, is so useful. And the range on it, it's only about 30 feet, so it's not terribly powerful, which means that from my desk to basically all the conference rooms I'm regularly going to hit, I can have access on my phone or my tablet or laptop or whatever else I want to use and still be able to get back to all my files on my desktop. Very, very useful stuff. On the other hand, when I go to like a conference or an event, like I said, if I'm in a hotel room that only has wired Ethernet, I could use this so that I could keep my devices online without having to use my data. But additionally, if I just quickly want to be able to back up stuff to an external hard drive or something and I don't want to bring out my laptop, I can just quickly stick a USB drive in here or a USB hard drive attached to here, move stuff over to it, and I'm done. Don't even have to boot up the laptop. So yeah, I have not had a whole lot of time to really test the battery life to see how long it's going to last, but like I said, it's a really large, it's 6,000 milliamp hour battery, and from their website, from the Indiegogo site, it says that it's a Samsung battery, if that matters to you. I looked at the diagram that they showed up, the internal product shots, and it looked like a cute little, about this big battery. Actually about the size of another battery that I've got, so it's possible they're using the same technology, and if so, the other battery I'm thinking of is extremely impressive, so hopefully this one is just as good. If it's a Samsung battery, I would hope that it's pretty decent anyway, but it is very handy for it to be battery powered as well, because if you're moving files or something and oh no, I've got to go right now, you just unplug it from the wall and go. You could have your little USB adapter on there and just keep going, and this will keep providing you wireless internet or wireless access. So that you can keep moving files from your device to it or from it to the device. So yeah, like I said before, or I don't know if I even got to this point, if this is something that sounds interesting to you, head on over to their Indiegogo campaign. They've only got about 10 days left at this point. You can pick up one of these for about $46. They've got 1,000 of them at that price, and I think they've only sold about 7 of them at that price so far. And just to put it sort of in perspective, the original Hutu on Amazon, the Hutu TripMate, not the Elite, is selling for $49.99 right now, so $46 to get one of these. Additionally, there's bundles something like $65, and you get one of these and a 4-port USB 3 hub. Not sure how those two correlate, but it is a USB 3 hub being made by Hutu, so I don't know. At the very least, you could hook it up through here and share multiple devices through it. I'd be really interested to see what the limit of devices is on this. I know you're not going to be able to charge bunches of devices at the same time, but I wonder if you could go beyond storage with this, or if you could hook up like a USB SD card reader to it, or perhaps hook up a USB printer to it and use it as a wireless print server. That would be kind of useful to me as well. But anyway, that's going to be about all from me for today. Thanks so much to RavPower and Hutu for sending this along. Definitely been handy for me, and I will continue to use it for everyday usage, actually. And I do highly recommend you go check out their Indiegogo campaign. It is a flexible funding campaign, so the absolute worst case scenario, they don't meet their funding goal, you still end up with your product, and they say the shipping date's supposed to be in April, so that's actually pretty soon. So I'll link to that down in the video description, as well as the video over on XDA about the RavPower wireless all-in-one SD card battery thing. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you again in the next video. Bye guys.